Whoops, drop something. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of MTG Arena Run. Today we're going to be going over all the different planeswalkers of War of the Spark. I'm going to be going over them. Originally I planned to do them 2 at a time, just go through all the uncommons, but 36 planeswalkers, the rares are actually quite interesting. Well, mostly very interesting for that part. I decided I'm just going to go with 3 of them, so we'll probably have about 13 decks total. So I'm going to do the first deck. This was the first one I got the concept quickly, but over time testing, this could easily be one of the worst decks for the current meta and whatnot. It says traditional constructed here, but I've been having a bit of a slump recently over there. If it doesn't work there, I'm gonna do one on quick, see if that works better. But here we go. This is Celestia Toughness. Originally, I had this as banned. I wanted to make an excuse to run Arcades, but didn't work out that well. Actually, it worked out really poorly. So that said, we're going to just go straight up, check the Celestia version. Much easier on our man and all that. So you're gonna notice that a lot of our creatures are 3 toughness or more. The only exceptions being Incubator Druid, but it can grow. MR is a one-shot, maybe grow sideways, but everything else is 3 toughness or more. The reason being is we want to combo off Huatli, get we start dealing damage equal to toughness rather than power. Other than that, most of our creatures are not completely defenseless. The only exception are the Arboreal Grazers. Snubhorn Sentry can get power eventually. Everyone else has some amount of power. So the idea is we drop these guys early. We try to drop Huatli as late as possible and we can go for one big swing. We try to chip damage early with Torn Lieutenant. This also decent enough toughness. The idea around this one is we want to dodge some of the most common removals like Shock, Moment of Craving, Cry of the Carnarium. It won't dodge the larger ones, but if you can get your opponent to spend more than just 1 mana, or at least depend on or not get so much benefit of it, if you get them to spend more than 2 cards on your creatures, that's perfectly fine. So we got Torn Lieutenant, also very good against spot removal. Well, not exactly very good, but does give us a bit of a late game. Huatli's Raptors in there. We do have a bit of a proliferate team, but not too much. I didn't try to completely depend on it. I guess we could do Pledge of Unity. I guess I could have done Rare Ajani in this deck, but I'm actually saving him for another deck. Though I suppose this would be the one deck where he fits. I actually do have a copy of him. Yeah, hold on. That's weird. I know. That's weird. I swear I have a copy of Ajani. No, those are just styles. Sorry, I don't have a copy of Ajani yet. Ajani the Great-Hearted. Yeah, this would be quite okay. I actually suppose I could run this one instead of Vivien, which I'm running right now. I might actually make that switch later. Anyway, I'll think about that one. But you also notice I'm not running any of the older walkers. I'm just gonna run straight War of the Spark Walker, see how that turns out. Now that said, so we also have some Bond of Flourishing to help us dig through our deck. Much better than Adventurous Impulse because we do have a lot of permanents that are not creatures. So we have Trashing Brontodon. We have some more artifact enchantment removal on the side, but we have this one main. Teyo the Shield Mage. This was the first one I wanted to build around. While we don't benefit from get the defenders to attack, I originally tried to splash blue for that with Arcades and High Alert, but the mana wasn't working out well. Splashes weren't working out great, and Arcades wasn't really benefiting us. That said, giving us hexproof is one way to shield our deck. We will tend to have problems against removal that's targeted at us, basically sacrifice style effects, and also we will have problems with targeted discard. So having hexproof is not bad. It's also a good way to delay mono red. We have a single copy of Vivien. I've opted for her. In hindsight, I'm probably gonna switch her with Ajani, but being able to dig through our deck deeper, because this deck really needs card draw. It's not too shabby. We also have Huatli. Does give us some life gain, so we could power out stuff early. We could take some early damage. I'm supposing that in a future build might revolve around life gain shenanigans, so we might still have Ajani's Pride Mate and whatnot. But that's one way to get extra value. Also, actually, now that I think of it, we could put Resolute Archangels here. Between some of the creatures having big enough toughness, like Shalai has some 4 toughness, Venerated Loxodon 4 toughness, also gives us a way to add counters to our creatures. God Eternal Oketra, probably one of the best cards to have here. If you thought the 3 power double strike was bad, 6 power double strike. Let that sink in for a while. Single copy of Trostani Discordant, 2 copies of Flower and Flourish. Even though we have 24 lands, sometimes this is basically a 3 mana deck. We do have a lot of 2 drops, but if we get stuck at 2 for a very long time, we're never catching up. Having this kind of helps us a bit. So we do have a single Arch of Vraska, Memorial to Unity. In hindsight, I'm thinking of replacing this with Karn's Bastion, the Proliferate land. I could also replace it with the Mobilized land. Hold on, where's that? Yeah, definitely Mobilized District's also a possibility. It gets us some additional beatdown action. I'm sticking with Arch of Vraska for now. My idea is that I don't have enough card draw. So we have Sealaways for early game tempo. Some Crawl Harpooners because flyers are still a problem. Kinjali Sunwing. This one helps us. This one helps us against Golgari midrange or Sultai midrange. Night of Autumn additional utility. More Excellence Binding. When I still had blue, I had Time Wipes. I'm gonna have to settle the wreckage in the sideboard. Gonna give this one a shot, and we'll see how well things go. I did say that this was not the best deck for me to be running in this current meta. I've noticed that at least when you go in traditional, you do run into a lot of control matchups. I've noticed that it's possible to outgas them, but more likely than not, we're the ones getting outgassed. It's not like we have a completely invincible setup. We can defend ourselves for a while with Teyo and Shalai, but eventually that gets removed. Well, this is also a problem. Okay, this one's better. We get Huatli into Huatli the Sun's Heart, but really horrible. I still have to keep it though. If I could draw Arboreal, that would be great. I'd run Arboreal Grazer into Huatli's Raptor. That would be my plan. Not necessarily the best plan, but it's kind of a bit of a long shot hope. 4 out of 53, and our opponent kept the hand of set. Well, we do have Torn Lieutenant. I can run that instead. So. Let's see what our opponent's deck is. Okay, this is definitely control. We're going to try to outrace our opponent. Unfortunately, if we Thought Erasure in, so our opponent's definitely gonna remove Huatli the Sun's. Actually, I could see them removing Huatli's Raptor if they have Ritual of the Suit or Kaya's Rat ready. This kind of tells us what they have. Okay, so they're gonna rely on spot removal for a while. It's really the turn 2 Thought Erasure that's a problem. We did get them to discard Moment of Craving. Speaking of which, Nice thing here is that Cry of the Carnarium's not gonna do it. Deafening Clarion will be a problem, but this is already clearly Esper at this point. 4 off. At least it's not Absorb, at least it's only Sinister Sabotage, so I'm gonna go for the main aggro. How am I assuming that our opponent's dependent on spot removal? Remove Huatli. If he now doesn't mean they don't have Kaya's Rat. I'm probably gonna just run Huatli's Raptor because that's the one that they saw. But yeah, we have to race our opponent, really run the risk. Okay, that's definitely not. We got ourselves an extra turn. I'm not gonna run out Torn Lieutenant, which might be a mistake, but if our opponent is spending mana on Mortify is fine. Oh, this is Kaya's Wrath mana, so I'm just gonna swing around a bit. If our opponent plays something big, I'm going to... Okay, let's see what happens. He's probably gonna draw cards. I'm going to...
Right on schedule.
I could crack Memorial to Unity, but this only gets me creatures also. That's another thing. I might just hope to draw into the land. Let's try drawing into the land. Nope, not the land, but trashing Brontodon's not bad. I'm gonna crack this. Our opponent might have Moment of Craving for this small guy, that's okay. Cast out for this guy is perfectly fine, I suppose. I will run Trashing Brontodon out. Okay, so this is spot removal heavy.
You want me to phase you out of time?
Kaya's... I'm still concerned that there might be a Kaya's rat in my future. I'm gonna end the turn here. This is probably a Tyrant Scorn. D-Spark would be kinda okay. Okay, nope, nothing. 6 mana. I'm still waiting for a 6 mana too. Opponent is gonna...
No time for a break.
I can see one potential concern being Eldest Reborn. Kaya's Rats. Okay, I did see that. I am going to crack Memorial. Trostine, Discordant, shall I? Ixalan's Binding would have been great. Take Trostani, miss the land. I'm gonna take Amara. Probably. So in the worst case scenario, like this one, I can run Torn Lieutenant into Amara. I'll run Amara first. Probably another Kaya's Wrath in my first insight. Yeah, my only gripe about traditional constructed is... It's not exactly a gripe. If you can build your deck knowing that everything's a control matchup, you can build it properly. It's just a shame we're never gonna test this deck out properly. That's it. That's that. Can't. One still has tons of mana, so he's gonna try to cash in this Chemister's Insight. Snowborn Sentry and Boral Grazer. Yeah, we're wasting a lot. Yeah, wasting a lot of time trying to deal with Teferi, but that's usually the case when your opponent has some. Okay, at least that's. Okay. He did run one Kaya's Rat. I'm expecting another one in our future. Can't do anything about that really. I'm gonna just run traps on that. I'm gonna hide these guys. I'm gonna hide these guys if possible. We did. It's a good thing we didn't get that early game out. So if our opponent is not expecting these guys, he might still keep things like Moment of Craving.
Hurry!
The problem with decks like this is we're essentially mid-range, but we're not the best kind of mid-range. In fact, I think one alternative we can do with this build is instead of just relying straight here on these guys, we could rely on cards like Wild Growth Walker. That's one engine we could use. Now, if he has Settle, I need to see what he has in his hand. I want to see if he has cards like Settle. Okay, that's 10.
I'm getting too old for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna concede it right now. This turn. We're not gonna surmount this card advantage. We don't exactly have a card draw engine. Mentor of the Meek is one possibility we can put in. So that said, we know our opponent is Kraken have Excellence Binding, Crawl Harpooners. Kinjali Sunring's not gonna help us. Trashing Brontodon could still help us because I'm expecting an Eldest Reborn. So what are we dropping? So Emara, Huatli, Tristani Discordant, and usually I drop one Snubhorn Sentry. Considering our opponent has a lot of removal, I'm gonna drop that one still. Getting the turn 3 play is pretty much our main goal. Well, to be fair, the gig is a bit up. Our opponent has already seen our Huatli. That said, I don't think it's completely unsurmountable. There's a very good chance I'm going to... Well, I'm probably going to make a bunch of the changes first also. Might have to spend a few more... Well, I didn't spend that many wildcards building this one, so that's a little bit of consolation. So what are the changes? You may think it's probably a bad sign that I'm talking about changes right now. But then again, that's part of the iterative process when you're designing something, be it a deck or a game or a build or a building. You want to think about how to make things better, how to make things better, how to make things better. Now in our case, okay, good. So we can run Arboreal Grazer into a possible turn 2 Huatli. If we don't, we could run Bond of Flourishing to dig for that land. Okay. Worst possible triple draw. And we did not get the land we need. I'm tempted to take God Eternal Oketra because if this goes in the bottom, I have no catch-up engine. So I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna put that in the... I'm gonna put that in my hand. Thankfully, our opponent is running Search instead. Okay, we got our... Now our opponent is not running damage, so I can run out what. So I can buffer up my life a bit. Probably buffer once. I would not be surprised if our opponent had some... Okay, our opponent's having mana troubles if he's discarding sweeper type removal. For sanity, yeah, okay. I'm gonna snipe it immediately so I don't have to worry about it in the future. Bit of a shame that I didn't draw. Well, I do want to draw one more land, but I also want to start drawing additional creatures. And I might be tempted to not even play them. Okay, our opponent is really stuck. He might have Sinister Sabotage, so I'm gonna attack first. Let's see if we can bait. There's no Mortify. I'm going to just run it out. He did see it coming. So Sinister Sabotage. That was it. I could have just run out the other Huatli. Actually, now in hindsight, I probably want to run at least one copy of Gaia's Blessing just to get cards back. So usually you have to assume things are weird when. So we're gonna attack first. I'm probably gonna run this into a Kaya's Rat. Yeah, I'm gonna wait it out a bit. We only have 7 permanents. He discarded one Kaya's Rat, probably because he already has another one. Actually, for a second, I read our opponent's name was Krugo, but no, that was not right. So Duress, yeah, take a Huatli. So our opponent is going for the early nuke my hand draw. And this. Now I could just run Flower now, but I'm gonna pass. Yeah, I have to be careful about
If I were you,
I'd
just
usually bad news.
Good help is easy to find in war.
I will run Teyo.
Serving the people is an important part of my life. Put me out front.
Life restored.
Yeah, I'm gonna run Flower Flare. I'm gonna run the Flower half. At least it's one less than 10. Bad news is it's not exactly bad news yet. We are the one thing that annoys me about Liliana is that we're basically filling up her hand, especially if we only have this one creature. Really need to have more. If by some miracle I win this one, and it's already a bit of a stretch now that I lost Oketra. Yeah, you have to remember that when you're telegraphing things. And our opponent's got the setup, so okay, spends a bit.
I do love a good death whale.
We are short on attacking creatures now.
Let's skip to the good part.
It's only a matter of time before we get overrun here. That said, yeah, we're not gonna win this game.
I'll block them off.
So yeah, I got careless with this one. Let's see our opponent's streak plan. Yeah, we killed the Thief of Sanity, then healed up for this one. I could have waited on him to play Duress. No, he would have filled his hand up. Yeah, but our opponent's in the position where he's got everything. I have to say, Oath of Kai is actually really good. I'm already considering building
Hold that thought.
not quite Esper, at least an Orzhov builds around Kaya and one and probably Obelisk. I can sneak and Zoran sign there. Okay, with this one, I will have to say, yeah, we're not gonna win this one based on the lands we're drawing. Our opponent's gonna eventually get to a point where even if he has to use the -4 to wipe our creatures, we're gonna draw lots of cards in the process. I'm guessing another card we could put in is Sorcerer's Spyglass. That's one way to nuke out planeswalkers. It's actually giving me ideas for how to build the blue-black deck. But let's see if we can make any progress with this one. So we can go with the turn 2. So we have options for what our turn 2 is. But I want to see. Okay. I've confirmed that this is a control meta. Good news is we can cycle up into turn. We can run to turn 3 immediately thanks to this draw. Not necessarily great though. Oh wait, this is Jeskai. So we actually have something with this. can bond the flourishing for something bigger. This one's essentially damage-based removal. Expecting some of it to be targeted. I'm gonna run Torn Lieutenant first. Now the nice thing about Arboreal Grazer in matchups like this, we can use it to stop. We can use it to defend at least. Take a few hits from Arclight. We can take hits from the Phoenix. Take hits from Crackling Drake. I will put. Right now, I have no idea, but generally, if you're running Treasure Map, this is not a Drake's build. This is more likely to be a control build. I'll run Incubation Druid first, and play more. So opponent is scrying. Yeah, there's. What's he like? Wait, so there's the Deafening Clarions predicted. So now we run MR. And we go Bond of Flourishing just to... Well, Teyo's an option. I don't exactly want another land yet. So watch me draw Teyo, then... Watch me play Teyo, then draw into Oketra. And then I really want to have the Incubation Druid. And so we know our opponent's running Deafening Clarion. We guessed correctly. This was the control build. Now how do we get? Opponent did not scry. It's 5. It's fairy. That thing hasn't changed.
I know my responsibility. You
Puts
need to slow down.
Puts him on top. So we have options here. I'm definitely gonna run Flower, so I'm gonna lose Amara, which is not too bad. We're not exactly in danger of any targeted removal to our face. I'm gonna run Flower first. Let's shuffle that. I don't want to draw Amara anymore for this turn. So Incubation Druid. No, I'm just gonna run Teyo first.
My protection. You at your best. This is what I trained for.
I want to see how controlled this is. Normally, this is where we expect either the Ral combo or the Thousand Year Storm combo. Yeah, those are the only planeswalkers I can think of. Magnificent's also a combo, I guess.
Keep up the pace.
So at least we're not getting pinged immediate. Well,
Give me some
Teyo's
space.
getting pinged. He's gonna have to bite a few more bullets first. What I can do now is Torn Lieutenant. Let's test if our opponent has any sort of... Okay. Venerated Loxodon. We'll tap these two. Let's... Oh yeah, this is Absorb Mana. Probably only lucky that we didn't draw into that. Or our opponent's just gonna nuke Teyo right now by casting Chemister's Insight. Oh no, just sacrifice, draw a card, ping Teyo, draw a card.
Hold the line. Couldn't weather the storm.
Well, let's be honest, Teyo. You kind of held the line only during the story. Now, we don't have enough mana to go straight through it. Well, if we draw one more mana, we can start hitting. I'm okay losing Venerated Loxodon. His purpose was basically just to buff these guys a little bit. That said, I should be on the lookout for more removal like Lava Calls in the future. So I'm gonna try to snipe the fairy. Though that means I need to draw one more land. Scary thing also is okay, there's the one more land. That's the good news. The bad news is I am kind of opening myself up to a settle. I have no choice. I have to go for it. He's deciding if he well, if our opponent is actually deciding whether it's okay to lose some Teferi,
We will meet again.
probably means he doesn't have settle. Well, I expect that to change. So that running incubation druid, next turn I will crack memorial to you. I suppose that also how it well, we dodged Justice Strike, but we won't dodge Lava Coil. I don't think our we'll see if our opponent's running Lava Coil main. Also, that our opponent sniping us instead of Incubation Druid is probably signaling. So take note if our okay, opponent draws a card.
Hurry!
That's fine. This one's a 5, so yeah, we can buff Tornut and snipe the fairy again. Okay, he's going for the Incubation Druid. Means has another card draw spell. I am probably not gonna crack Unity if our opponent's down to this 2 mana. I'm going to try to eliminate the fairy right then and there. Which means we will have to take a few hits from Niv, but that's okay. Okay, he's got blue mana, that scares me. Okay, swinging. Probably signaling the fact that he does have, he's probably signaling that he might have settled, but I have to go with the flow. I can't wait forever. Well, do I nuke it right now or do I nuke it later?
Don't make another move.
So we're gonna take quite a bit of damage. I think at this point our opponent, well, we're gonna take more because we didn't kill off the fairy, but that's usually the problem with decks that can resolve everything at instant speed. We're currently at a meta right now where spells are really good and your creatures have to be exceptionally good. Or your game plan has to be exceptionally specific and good at the same time. Right now, our deck is admittedly neither. So opponent's gonna scry an upkeep, which is always a good idea, especially since you can have your own treasure cove to crack. It's really a shame that we did not get assault formation.
No time for a break.
So we're taking more damage. Yeah, we just want to see what our opponent has. I don't exactly remember Jeskai. I think I just seen so much Esper. And think of it now, we have no answer. Yeah. Yep, I'm gonna say good game now because we have no way to block Niv. So we have to bring in. Good news is we can bring in Ixalan's Binding. We could also try bringing in Seal Away. Our opponent's not exactly creature heavy, so I don't know what to run Settle. I could run Night of Autumn just to give us an extra buffer. Also, our opponent's likely to have their own enchantment, so adding more removal there is fine. We'll drop Huatli. I'm willing to keep Trostani because our opponent is likely to run things like Trancing Melody. I'm probably gonna... I'm gonna cut one Huatli and one Snubhorn Sentry. Actually, no. Let's put Huatli back. I'm just gonna cut the other Snubhorn Sentry. Do I want to run Crawl Harpooners? Probably. I guess I could just cut Snubhorn Sentry altogether. Just run the Crawl Harpooners. We just need 2 dead creatures to snipe Niv, and that's perfectly fine. And it's really rushing mana that's more important for us than getting an early 0-3. Sure, we get benefits with Venerated Loxodon, but we're not that kind of mono white. So we go first. We get the turn 2 Incubation Druid, but not much else. I'll just run Sunpanel Grove first. Could this deck benefit from Llanowar Elves? Probably, but my only gripe about is that it's a very good way to get yourself stuck with cards you don't want. Yeah, sure. I'll run our Boreal Grazer now. If we can accelerate into Trostani, that's great. Treasure map. Okay, so this one's taking his time. Flower Flourish. There is an interesting trick we can do. Here's the thing. Our opponent is 1 white mana away from Deafening Clarion, so I'm just gonna Knight of Autumn first. Snipe the treasure map. If any, it delays our opponent a bit. If our opponent doesn't have Deafening Clarion and we manage to get Trostani done, at least we bought ourselves time. Okay, opponent's playing this. I guess we can Huatli. I don't want to run Incubation because... yeah, I'm just gonna run Huatli.
I shall wield this power. We are only as strong as our allies.
If it convinces our opponent to just some Deafening Clarion now, it's fine. Still need 1 more land. I guess I could run another copy of Flower and Flourish. Maybe just make the deck more green aligned. However, it definitely means, as much as I like running Vivien, I probably can't run her. I probably won't be surprised if our opponent... okay. So I'm gonna run the combat first. Opponent's got no response. Just gonna run Teyo out. This will bait the counter spell. I guess that's... oh, I didn't bait the counter spell.
There's like me. So
but I'm not
glad
gonna
to meet you.
make shields. If any, I just need to give myself hexproof, although it's really just a shield against explosion, and our opponent's nowhere near that. We really just need 1 more mana for Trostani, but I have to remember our opponent's likely to hold up counters. Oh no, he's not. He's legitimately stuck. If you're using Chemister's Insight out early, okay, he's stuck. We're kind of stuck too. That's a problem. So I'm gonna wait it out. I'm still gonna wait it out a bit. I'm trying to think what kind of spell our opponent... okay, opponent's got 1 red source, but that's not an issue here. I'm actually curious what happened. He's playing these... okay, Warden is a good card. Well, Sorcery Speed is good. There's Lyra. I can afford to pay 2 life, but that doesn't... all that does is get me our Boreal Grazer with... yeah, let's go for it. Now, question: if our opponent attacks with Lyra, do we? Here's the thing: has first strike. So if we attack with everything, these guys will all drop one virtual power. Still waiting for that deafening clarion. If our opponent swings on Huatli, that's... I can't let that happen. I will just chump block with one grazer. Thankfully, it does not have vigilance. I would not be surprised if our opponent has another angel. Okay. Actually swinging for us. If you're swinging for Huatli, I would have blocked. Swinging for us, I'm not gonna block. We have Teyo, so our opponent has to deal with Teyo first before I worry about Settle. That was expected, but I was expecting that. Definitely Clarion, yeah, I have to do everything. So yeah, Shalai came down a bit late. Swing towards us, so no blocks. Kind of a bit poor form, but now here's the thing. I want Ending Phoenix. What is saying a good game? Let's see what he actually means. Probably could have made Sheila. Probably should just gain life. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Well, he loses the token, but I need to draw out. I do have Ixalan's Binding, but we can play this number 2. Just crack. And nope, not very good.
Talk to the wall.
No, I'm good. So far, a point. Turn to 10 is not gonna cut it. And probably had the counter, yeah. That's definitely a good game. So we didn't get very far with this deck. I'm not surprised. So I'm going to do a little something different with this one. I'm gonna first claim my losses. Then I'm going to edit the deck. I'm actually not gonna edit the deck yet. I'm gonna try to see if changing the meta changes anything. So worst case scenario, I just literally get steamrolled all throughout. But I do have several changes in mind. First things first, this is an auto mull. I could hopefully try to stumble into white mana, but our opponent goes first. No, I'm gonna mulligan this one. This one is worse, but I am gonna try. Okay, we got Sun Petal Grove, so at least we got some continuing action. Really depends what our opponent's running. If it's red, I will run Torn Lieutenant next. Any other color, I might be willing. Red or black, it's Torn Lieutenant. Any other color, I might run Incubation Druid just to get Teyo out. Okay. Gruel, so this is interesting. This could be a Gates deck, which is normally the kind of deck you want to run on not quite Gates yet. Okay. Hindsight probably should have been Incubation Druid, but I did say if it runs red, I'm going to run Torn Lieutenant first. Though this one is more likely to just be...
You must be mad to tussle with me.
Okay, fight.
That's
So
the
that was
sound of a
expected.
stampede coming straight at
Is
ya.
he gonna swing in? No, he's not gonna swing there. We unfortunately did not draw the land, so I will just play Incubation Druid. At least we know he can't fight immediately. Need to save up for that one single Ixalan's Binding.
I've lived with animals my entire
What's
life.
this 5 mana creature?
Explains a lot, actually.
Well, at least I'm not worried about countering stuff. Oh! Okay, so this is probably Domri plus Sarkhan. He probably has additional fight spells too. So, unfortunately, not getting the lands we need. So we know our opponent is also mid-range, so we need to adjust. Well, we have no way of adjusting accordingly. This is best of one. So we will just pull Huatli's Rapture. But we are way behind. Nope. Not gonna help you. Yeah, that was weird. I would have expected playing this would skip that, but I think it's better to have that safety measure.
Busting heads is my bread and butter.
Yeah, getting stuck on mana is always a problem. As I said, this is essentially a 3 mana deck. We literally got a wall of nothing. Need to draw into multiple running lands just to get something out of it. Not good form.
We are
That
the
one's
many.
expected. We will have to take the hit though. I'm surprised why our opponent is not swinging back. I would expect something like a lightning strike right about now.
I've never dueled before, but don't take it easy.
Well, if I can get you to spend the lightning strike here,
Anything to
I
support
guess
my
it's okay.
allies.
But now I need 2 running lands. I guess one running land gives me a stopgap against this guy. Though I'm more likely to just nuke Domri and just try and deal with the goblin later. Burning Sun's Avatar. Well, I have hexproof, so Teyo's gonna bite the dust. So at least Teyo did his job. But now I have to deal with a 7/6. I guess if I do draw that one more land, I am... Okay, fine. I didn't draw the land, but at least I drew a stopgap. Kind of painful though. I am going to be taking 7... I will have to take 7 damage. Alternately, our opponent... Yeah, we're dead on board if our opponent is willing to sacrifice Domri or play a removal spell. Let's see if he sees it. Okay, he didn't see that. Doesn't mean we're still alive. Colossal Dreadmaw. Okay, he didn't see it. So good news is we drew the land. Bad news is... Okay, this one doesn't have... Bad news is I have to nuke the Dreadmaw. Can't attack. I guess I can... Actually, no, I have to attack. He will definitely guard. I'm really surprised he didn't go for the kill. So... Still no trample. Okay, but... Probably still has a removal spell. So mandatory block. Well, I only have one Ixalan's Binding, so he is correct. That is good game. Oh, does he have Tud? Well, I have to handle it. If he has Tud, whoops, yeah. Well, we didn't exactly draw the stuff we needed on time. Our opponent, we have to thank our opponent for giving us as many chances as he could, but yeah, I guess for best of one, more of the Ixalan's Binding is gonna come into the main board. So we're gonna have a slightly longer video, but only because I'm running through 2 queues. Yeah, this deck definitely will not survive traditional. Okay, I'll go first because I do get 2 lands, and I can Bond of Flourishing for the 3rd land. So, oh wait, cancel lands before spells. As in playing sequence. Don't put your lands in front of your spells. We're civilized people here. The shrine. Okay, got our 3rd mana. I'm willing to play Huatli first.
Tell me your story.
And so far I don't see any red, so I'm willing to cash in on a little life. Next turn I will probably just play Trashing Bronze. Yeah, this is some straight up Orzhov aggro. So far it's Orzhov aggro. I'm expecting some life gain. We're definitely not cashing in the rest of Huatli. We are going to kind of empty our hand. Fungal Infection, sure. If you're willing to trade both, this is perfectly fine. Well, he doesn't have to trade both. That's fine. Arboreal Grazer did his job. And we're gonna use Snubhorn Sentry, but if our opponent's spending that on single cards, I'm fine. Okay, so we'll do Bond of Flourishing first. I'm trying to remember if we have double white spells. Yes, we do. Oh, no. Cancel. Attack first. And this is attacks a planeswalker you control. So I'm gonna hold off on it a bit. That said, our opponent can just have Kaya's Rat ruins our base. Now we wreck the Oath. Now we're not involved. Now we still have a problem with Crive the Carnarium, but at least now every Arboreal Grazer we play is a potential threat. It's also possible our opponent's Knight of Grace, so okay, Incubation Druid. With Arboreal Grazer. First strike's a problem, but I'm currently okay with taking damage for now. Let's see if our opponent actually can suit it up. Okay, naming Knight, so not quite suit up. Holding that back. Our opponent can double block. But if he does that, he loses both. I could have cast in the Huatli first, but I want the life buffer. Then again, it's white-black. I don't expect direct damage. Yeah. If I were to do white-black nowadays, it's again gonna either go around the life gain or go around vampires, which is still going around the life gain. So it seems like, yeah, if we can win with this one, at least we're guaranteed this is a tier 2 deck. Maybe 2.5. Let's be a bit humble. So turn 2. Nope, we are a 3-mana deck. Scared to mulligan this, but I will not. Okay, this one's better. And we get the Sun Petal Grove off the top. Okay, so this is more aggressive. So we're gonna go Snubhorn Sentry into Bond of Flourishing. I would have preferred a 2-drop. Yeah, he's gonna attack with all of these guys. So do we want the other land or just the Torn Lieutenant? I'll take the Torn Lieutenant. So we're not exactly threatening our opponent yet. This is a straight up mono white build. We will always block one. Mystery Benalia. Mystery Benalia. So we got a bit of a race on our hands. Got Incubation Druid. I could just play Sun's Heart, but it will just incentivize him to attack with everyone. Okay, so here are our options. I could just play Incubation Druid so I can hope for next turn draw a Lantern to Trostani. And if not, I can Venerated Loxodon, then get the counter on that cheaply, then just cast Trostani off that. This is mono white. I'm gonna go for it. So we're gonna be looking at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 power. Let's redo the math. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, we're technically dead next turn. Yeah, those are the breaks, but we can block some damage. So let's see what options we get. Okay, we didn't draw the land. So, unfortunately, because these, I have to play Venerated Loxodon. Tapper Convoke. Now, if our opponent has, okay, our opponent's signaling that he has the. Oh, that also does it. Yeah, good game. Yeah, we stumbled on the mana. That was a problem. Mana is always a problem in this deck. So at least we got one win off our belt. I would like a second one at least. if any, just kind of, I wouldn't say validates our position, but more like gives it a shot. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one. You got creature, sort of creature. We can draw into what we need for Shalai. Let's run the set first. Okay. I'm gonna run Huatli's Raptor first. If our opponent's going to this, usually when you see blue-black, expect Thought Erasure. Actually, if you see any form of blue or black, you can expect some form of Thought Erasure. So we lost Shalai. That was expected. I'm gonna run the Bond of Flourishing first. Can't get the Trashing Dagger on. So again, very vulnerable to another Thought Erasure, but yeah. Duress. Okay, we lose Teyo, but that's okay. Now I could run Incubation Druid, but this build essentially runs a lot of creature removal. I'm gonna wait it out a bit. Okay, this could be Crackling Drake. Okay, nope, not Crackling Drake. I could run Trust 9 Discordant now. This does run Sinister Sabotage. Let's just run Incubation Druid first. Let's bait the counter spell or the removal. That was expected. I mean, hope. Okay, opponent goes Gabriel's Traveler. Unfortunately, we should have standing, but that's the break.
Let's tidy up.
So we take 2 damage, but
Loneliness
we
can hurt.
So this is that kind of vicious blow. Now that we know our opponent's on the discard plan, I'm just gonna run everything out. I'm expecting Nicol Bolas anytime soon. Kind of a shame though. You're watching this gameplay, but a lot of the other cards are not making the cut. Expecting a sweeper right about now. 6 mana, nope. At least not Star of Extinction. Our opponent's stalled out. Okay, at least we get at least the deck has one more chance to show off Vivien, has one more chance to show off Godlord Oketra. Well, we'll probably see Oketra in the other decks, so it's probably the last hurrah for Vivien unless I redo this deck around the Johnny. So if you see a second part of this, it's probably after I've already tweaked this deck around the Johnny already. Okay, so we're definitely going first here. We have a set of turn 2 plays and Oketra. Question, do I run Incubation Druid or Bond of Flourishing? Depends on what. Turn 1 Duress. Okay, that answers our question. We run Incubation Druid. Actually, no. I run Torn Lieutenant. Reason being that if I don't get the land drop, I can just play Flower, play that as my land drop, play Incubation Druid. At least we have plans around that. Okay, got the land drop. I will play Incubation Druid now, although this is very likely gonna get shocked. Definitely need another planes. So our opponent knows that if he doesn't do anything, yeah, he's gonna shock this one. Or Lightning Strike, or some sort of removal. He has to remove it. he can't let me land Oketra. Okay, Grixis. He's going to let me land Oketra. Okay, land Oketra. Now he could just remove it, but at least I can keep getting it back. Though it means I will have to hold on to Huatli's Raptor for a while. This is a good bedevil target. Probably Chupacabra, sure. So definitely gonna take action. So got Archer for us, got Temple Gun. I'm gonna play the Arch first. Gonna attack with all. Yeah, he probably should know that there's a trigger. I'm gonna activate it anyway. So I'm expecting Nicol Bolas right about now. That said, if he does play Nicol Bolas and force me discard, I will discard the Raptor because that's his content. Okay, that's fine. But this deck is on the slower side in terms of remove spot removal. Actually, funny enough, if our opponent doesn't mess with our hand, we will get Oketra and an Eternal on play. This looks like a counterspell setup. Nope, he's playing something. Spy draw card. Okay, I really feel bad about this. Okay, this is still a counterspell setup though. Nope, it's not. So, okay. Yep, that's correct. That's a correct mana tapping. Pay attention to the mana being tapped first before you let that go. Because you want to get this sequence right. Am I willing to sacrifice Throne Lieutenant? Nope, not really. So I'm gonna... well, to be... no, I'm not gonna attack with it. There could be a Star of Extinction in the future. Okay, opponent could crew the Fell Flagship. Already crewed. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so it discarded the wrong type, so it doesn't get the buff. Definitely swinging with Oketra. We can snipe one guy before the other guys kill it. Swing this one, that's perfectly fine. Spy. Nope, he didn't attack. I can also swing. Oh, he did get Vivien. Tempted to run Vivien now. No, I'll just run Vivien later. Let's hold this one back. Actually, I'm just gonna swing with these two. I'm gonna hold these guys back. Now, the only concern with Vivien is if I'm about to draw into Huatli, I'm gonna miss out. But I'd rather get Vivien out right now. If I knew I was gonna hold the Tauren Lieutenant back, I would have played Vivien, given its vigilance. I think our opponent's gonna dump everything on this. Yeah, you need to. Okay. No, he's just gonna. Yeah, he's gonna take out. Yeah, that's probably the better one. I just chump with Chupacabra. Or Stormfleet Spy. I'd probably chump with Chupacabra because at least the Stormfleet Spies on their own can crew the flagship. Okay. So we're gonna play Vivien. We're going to -2 her.
Wild animals I like.
So we're looking for a creature that's
Not so much.
4C.
Wait.
Okay, this is
You
the only
think
creature we got.
nature is
That's.
kind?
But we have a surprise. We have to remember, if our opponent tries to kill Vivien, we have to play Slughorn immediately. Hostage Taker. Can't cast it immediately though. Oh wait, no, it doesn't matter. Because which one's he gonna snipe? Okay, first I'm gonna cast so I get the +4. So I get the 4/4. Ability means yes. Well, I could leave it there, but I'm not gonna take the risk. I'm just gonna. Besides, I have other ways to spend mana. There we go. So we actually managed to get another win for our belts. I guess we can keep on going. Not exactly the proudest day, but we are 1 loss away. All I need to do is run into a reasonably good deck, or have mana problems. As you can see, the deck has issues with both. So, okay, not too bad. I'm gonna keep this one. Okay, opponent has a fast start. Okay, not too fast. Take it. I will take the life hit though. So we actually got a bit of a potential fast acceleration. We just need one more green source, I think. Yeah, we just need to draw into a green source. I can flower, play that source, our Boreal Grazer, play the other source. Okay, we have a chance. Okay, we didn't get the fast start. But we got the Huatli surprise. Definitely need the second green. I'll play this. I could play Torn Lieutenant just to... Nope. Usually by this time our opponent figures something is up. Now, let's hope this... No, bad news is, okay, not Jeskai. Not yet anyway, but at least it's not Jeskai in this turn. So, yeah, I'll take the hit. Because I could alternately to Vivien.
Challenge you want, then a challenge you'll get.
Huatli. Not gonna drain.
Destiny is greater than ever.
I'll attack Sahili, then pull back 1, swing here. This is the other deck I want to build. It's basically Izzet, Sahili, and Kasmina would be my other pair color. And let's go in Discovery. So at least we avoided the onslaught of 1/1 tokens for now. Not out of the woods yet though. I'm expecting some drakes. Probably there's... Okay, nope, there's Radical Idea. Opponent did not discard the Phoenix, though that could change if he has Tormenting Voice. Yeah, he'll probably snipe Huatli. Oh no, he's gonna snipe the first. Well, that was kind of expected. So I get to play... I will play Torn Lieutenant over Vivien because I need to draw into more mana. And at least, if anything were to happen to Huatli, Torn Lieutenant can still defend. And our opponent's spending all resources here, so that's fine. Little does our opponent know, but I'm not gonna inform him on that. If we can make our opponent use up resources here, that's as good as playing burn spells. Gaining life. Having the option to gain life against something like mono red is also a good plus. So now we need... So now we need a way to give these guys some +1 toughness. That's not it. I can choose. Well, I'm gonna choose to hold everyone back. So I'm gonna play Vivien.
You can still walk away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'll play the Snubhorn Sentry. I'll take the Snubhorn Sentry over the lands. I will need the lands eventually for Torn Lieutenant, but let's wait on it a bit. Also need to remember, if our opponent tries to snipe Vivien, we play the Snubhorn Sentry immediately. And we actually can just block with chump block with our Royal Grazers. Okay, let's see. Lightning Strike, targeting Vivien. No. Yeah, sure, that's okay. So we will just take the hit. Actually, no. If he goes after Vivien... Actually, let's see how he does it. He has to play some more spells. Right at the stage. Okay. He's probably gonna dig up something to snipe Vivien. 8. Because I can actually swing out of nowhere. He will need to hold up. He'll need to hold up a negate or a quench or spell pierce. Well, okay, he'll need to have a spell pierce. Oh, he's going after Vivien. Okay, so play Snubhorn Sentry. So, let's see. If he blocks one of these, is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not enough to kill him. No blocks. But I can't use our Royal Grazer.
Not again!
Oh, sorry, Vivien. It's again. Not Teyo. We'll play Huatli first.
This power ought to be shared.
Gonna use the ability now because it doesn't really matter if your opponent when the Drake has 10 power. And it forces our opponent to double down on this guy a bit. So now any one of our creatures is lethal. Okay, another cracking Drake. Okay, there's a way we could lose. It requires maximize velocity. Okay, no maximize velocity yet. Yeah, he's trying to draw into max. Okay, did he draw into it? Oh no, we lost already. This is 22. Oh no, not yet. He has to have the maximized velocity. Does he have a way to give this haste? Okay, he doesn't have a way to give it haste. He's got 15 damage though. He probably thinks he wins because these guys go back down to 0. Oh, he didn't cast it.
Humility is painful.
Little does he know that I actually drew the third one. I'm very sorry, opponent.
I have come to help.
Swing for the ring. Yeah, I'll be fair. That was my last Huatli. Yeah, so we're doing quite well here. I guess maybe I should just make all these decks for quick constructed. Currently at 4 wins and counting. This is becoming a reasonably long video at this point now. So okay. So we need to do sentry into. If we draw another land, I'll do Emara first. I'm scared. Wait, this might not be the really fast. This is like, okay, that's fine. At least we took 1 damage into the tree. Okay, we're gonna go Bond of Flourishing. We really need that third land. And thank goodness it's a forest. Because next turn we can do forest, trashing Brontodon, hold down the fort. Force our opponent to have the lava coil, basically. Opponent's got to 2 cards. So trashing Brontodon. He could still have the burn spell. Yeah, I'll block 1. Let's force him to use that burn spell. I kind of knew what's going to happen, but I can't exactly keep waiting. Okay, got Excellence Binding, but I'm going to actually just do this into this. Our opponent used 2 shocks already. Let's force him to use more burn spells. Now the question is, are we dead already? Going down to 6 is not fun. Alternately, if I think I'm really in trouble, I can just play what? Goblin Chain Roller. Okay. So we drew into our 5th mana. Slightly scary, but... Okay, we have options here. If I Excellence Binding, that leaves me only 3, so, but I can play Huatli the Sun's Heart. Nope, I can't play Huatli the Sun's Heart. What was I thinking? This is not a Convoke spell. I'm going to attack with Emara because it gives me a 1/1 lifelink. And at least I know I don't have to worry about future Chain Whirlers. I have to give up on Incubation Druid though. Still get the double burn, but that would have happened already by now. Central Grove. Okay, hopefully we're not dead yet. Lightning Strike. Okay, we might be dead. Light up the stage. Okay, not quite. Land into Pyromancer, so Huatli can save us. He has to attack with everything though. Okay. Nope. We play Huatli first.
There is always
Play Huatli's Raptor. Yes, submit these 2. Gain some life.
Let me aid.
Attack with Emara only. Now we have a buffer. Whew. Huatli gets us out of there. Yeah, we barely survived. That was the kind of deck we were playing on. It's strange that we never ran into that deck in... I guess we're never gonna run into that deck in traditional, so it might be a point where I'm probably gonna just play all these in quick. I might play in traditional if I have even the slightest sense of pride that it might work. That said, yeah, I'll keep this. If we need an early creature, Huatli's Raptor comes down. Okay. Yeah, I could get greedy, but no. Proliferate's more of a something than a main theme. I need to be able to snipe some of their creatures as they play, because they're going to be playing a lot of... he's also playing some concentrate. So if he can tap this down... He can also tap this down, but I'm going to play that first. I can attack, but there's no point. He could choose to tap. He could just choose to attack with all these guys, but he's more likely gonna tap one down and just play more creatures. I'm hoping to draw into another land so I can flourishing into another raptor. I don't want to play Teyo quite yet. I'd rather play Vivien in this case. One is thinking this through. Conclave Tribunal. Yeah, snipes that out. That's fine, I guess. So, we got Shalai, Teyo, Vivien. I'm going to go Bond of Flourishing first. We need another white source. Okay, got it. So he probably has more Conclave Tribunals. Oh, that's probably right. Okay. So next turn we could go Vivien, start trying to dig, but I'm more likely to just play Shalai than do Vivien afterwards. Unrated blocks of At least we got another land, so we're at least one. So we're 1 mana away. Let's do Shalai first. At least we know our opponent can't mess with it yet, and if we get another land, we can start amassing counters and try to hold off our opponent. This is okay. So let's do the logical blocks. First, let's take out Law Rune Enforcer. And take out this one. So we're gonna take 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. I could snipe the Dauntless Bodyguard. Let's snipe it. Yeah, not bad. Should have seen that one. I used to put that in the deck also. Yeah, that's a good one. So unfortunately, everything else is too late. Heck, I got all 3 planeswalkers now. Yeah, but everything's too late at this point. If I could have been more conservative with the blocks, but yeah, this is really an underrated card for mono white. So yeah, that's a good game, and it's a good time to end it here. You still have to be very careful with this. That said, well, we got our money back from this one. We never got the money back from traditional, but at least we know. So, but there we go. Tier 2 deck on the list. Am I gonna probably revisit this deck? There are a few ideas, but probably not. Also, this video is running way too long for what it is. Actually, that should be an exercise for you guys. What are the changes that you guys would make? Okay, don't say I'm not gonna run this deck altogether. Come on, anyone can do that. But think of it as a constructive, creative exercise. Think of it as a problem-solving exercise. Even if you do normal net decking, you can't just copy the deck verbatim and just go along with that, because by the time you get your hands in the deck, the pros are already thinking one level ahead. If you go in with that deck, there's a good chance that a better player has already solved your deck. Usually decks that win the Pro Tour or GP, or what do they call them now, that win the Magic Fests, they tend they tend to get solved again afterward. So think of it this way: start with a deck, any deck. Let's take this one for example. Start with this deck. We know that this is more designed for best of one. How would you change the setup? You know that the strengths are it bypasses a lot of shot, it bypasses a lot of removal. It forces your opponent to spend more just to remove. It has a decent game against mono red. That last game was a bit of a nail biter, but yeah, we had a good shot there. So how would you shore up some certain matchups? What are the cards that you put? Or put yourself in the shoes of a deck of a card creator. Let's pretend you're an R&D, dream job of most players. What are the cards that you would make? Right off the bat, I can tell you that I would bring back a green instant that gives hexproof. Right now it's in blue. Green could use one of those. We had those traditionally. We could use one of those now. I would not be surprised if we saw that in Core 2020. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on notifications. And, well, this was a very good exercise on my part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care.